The ancient narratives of Genesis, often perceived as foundational theological texts, also preserve accounts of significant historical events. Among these, a detailed military conflict unfolds, offering profound insights into the geopolitical landscape of the early 2nd millennium BCE. This particular episode transcends a mere chronicle of warfare, serving as a pivotal moment in the unfolding covenantal history. This conflict involved a formidable coalition of 5 kings, rulers of prominent cities nestled within the fertile Jordan Valley. These city-states, though seemingly prosperous, found themselves entangled in a larger regional power struggle. Their collective defiance would ignite a conflagration with far-reaching consequences. The cities comprising this alliance were Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboam, and Bela, later known as Zoar. These names resonate through biblical history, often associated with divine judgment. Yet here they stand as participants in a terrestrial struggle for sovereignty. Their strategic location made them valuable, but also vulnerable to larger empires. For 12 years, these 5 kings had been tributaries to Chedorlaomer, the powerful king of Elam, a dominant force from the east. In the 13th year, a collective spirit of rebellion stirred within the Jordan Valley, prompting them to cast off the yoke of Elamite dominion. This act of defiance set the stage for an inevitable confrontation. Chedorlaomer, unwilling to relinquish his tribute, marshaled his forces and those of his allies. He was joined by Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, and Tidal, king of Goyim. This formidable northern coalition represented a significant military power, poised to reassert its authority over the rebellious southern kings. The stage was thus set for a major battle, a clash of wills and armies that would determine the fate of the Jordan Valley cities. The narrative meticulously records the movements and preparations, underscoring the gravity of the impending conflict. It was not merely a skirmish, but a decisive engagement. The chosen battleground was the Valley of Siddim, a location later identified with the Salt Sea, or the Dead Sea. This valley was notable for its numerous bitumen pits, natural tar pits that would prove to be a treacherous element in the ensuing combat. The terrain itself would play a role in the unfolding drama. In the brutal engagement that followed, the 5 Jordan Valley kings were decisively defeated. The superior organization and might of Chedorlaomer's coalition proved overwhelming. The rebellion was crushed, and the rebellious kings were forced to flee, some falling into the very bitumen pits that dotted the valley. Following their victory, the triumphant kings proceeded with the customary actions of ancient conquerors. They swept through the defeated cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, systematically plundering their resources. This act of despoilment was a clear demonstration of their dominance and a punitive measure against the rebellious populace. They seized all the goods and provisions from these cities, leaving them stripped bare. The wealth accumulated by the inhabitants, their food supplies, and all valuable possessions became the spoils of war for the victorious northern kings. This comprehensive looting underscored the totality of their conquest. Beyond material possessions, the victorious armies also took captives from the vanquished cities. This practice was common in ancient warfare, providing labor, slaves, or hostages. The human cost of the conflict was immense, as families were torn apart and individuals subjected to the will of their captors. Among these unfortunate captives was Lot, the nephew of Abram. Lot had chosen to settle in Sodom, drawn by the fertile lands of the Jordan Valley. His capture directly linked the broader regional conflict to Abram's household, setting in motion a chain of events that would reveal Abram's character and faith. Abram, identified in the text as the Hebrew, received news of Lot's capture through an escapee. This designation, the Hebrew, is significant, marking him as distinct from the surrounding peoples, and perhaps hinting at his nomadic outsider status. The messenger brought tidings of disaster and familial distress. Upon hearing of his nephew's plight, Abram immediately sprang into action. There was no hesitation, no deliberation over personal risk or the formidable power of the victorious kings. His loyalty to family and his sense of responsibility were paramount, driving his swift and decisive response. He gathered his trained men, those born in his household, who were accustomed to his leadership and skilled in combat. These were not mercenaries but loyal retainers, part of Abram's extended family and retinue. Their readiness reflected Abram's preparedness and the disciplined nature of his encampment. Abram's force consisted of 318 trained men. This number, though seemingly small against a coalition of kings, represented a significant private army for a nomadic chieftain. It speaks to Abram's wealth, influence, and capacity for self-defense in a dangerous world. With his loyal contingent, Abram pursued the victorious kings who had taken Lot and the other captives. His pursuit was relentless, demonstrating his determination to reclaim what was lost. He tracked the invaders northward, following their path of retreat and plunder. Abram engaged the invaders in a surprise night attack. Dividing his forces, he struck from multiple directions under the cover of darkness, creating confusion and panic among the unsuspecting enemy. This tactical brilliance showcased Abram's strategic acumen, turning a numerical disadvantage into an advantage. Abram's forces were overwhelmingly successful in their military engagement. The element of surprise, combined with the discipline of his men, shattered the cohesion of the victorious king's armies. The tables were turned, and the erstwhile conquerors found themselves in disarray. They decisively defeated the invading kings, scattering their forces and putting them to flight. The pursuit continued as far as Hobah, north of Damascus, ensuring a complete rout. This victory was not merely a rescue, but a comprehensive military triumph against a powerful regional coalition. Abram recovered all the stolen goods, reclaiming the plunder taken from Sodom and Gomorrah. This restoration of property was a testament to the completeness of his victory, reversing the fortunes of war. Nothing was left behind, demonstrating his thoroughness. Crucially, he successfully recovered Lot, his nephew, from captivity. This was the primary objective of his daring mission, driven by familial love and obligation. Lot's freedom was secured, bringing an end to his ordeal and restoring him to his family. Lot's family was also recovered during this mission, along with the other people who had been taken captive from Sodom and Gomorrah. Abram's victory extended beyond his immediate kin, bringing liberation to many others. This act established him as a protector and a force for justice in the region. Following his remarkable victory, Abram was met by two significant figures, each representing a distinct aspect of the world he inhabited. These encounters would test his character and reveal the depth of his faith. The aftermath of battle often brings profound decisions. The king of Sodom, whose city Abram had just liberated from plunder, approached him with an offer. He proposed that Abram keep all the recovered goods, allowing him to take only the people. This was a generous offer by ancient standards, acknowledging Abram's heroic deed. However, Abram refused the king of Sodom's offer. His decision was not born of pride, but of principle. He understood the implications of accepting such spoils from a pagan king, particularly one associated with the wickedness of Sodom. His integrity was paramount. Abram swore an oath to God, the Lord Most High, that he would not enrich himself from the spoils of war. He declared that he would not take even a thread or a sandal strap, lest the king of Sodom claim to have made Abram rich. His trust was in God alone, for his prosperity. Before this encounter, Melchizedek, king of Salem, later known as Jerusalem, and a priest of God Most High, blessed Abram. This mysterious figure emerges from the narrative as a priest-king, a unique and significant individual in the early biblical record. His appearance is profound. Melchizedek offered Abram bread and wine, symbolizing a priestly blessing and an act of communion. He blessed Abram in the name of God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, acknowledging Abram's divine favor and the source of his victory. This blessing was a spiritual affirmation. Abram, in turn, gave Melchizedek a tenth of all the recovered possessions. This act of tithing demonstrated his reverence for God and his recognition of Melchizedek's priestly authority. It was a profound act of worship and acknowledgement of divine sovereignty over all things. This entire episode, from the initial conflict to Abram's rescue and the subsequent encounters, serves as a powerful testament to faith, loyalty, and divine providence. It highlights Abram's character as a man of action, integrity, and deep spiritual conviction, setting a precedent for his future role in salvation history.